How are we going, everyone? Yesterday I was pulling out my spring onions. Well, today I'm planting them again. You know how I've told you in the past you can actually just prune them back down to the ground without removing them from the ground? If you need to relocate the garden bed or do some changes to it, you need to take out your spring onions. So rest assured you can replant them again. Spring onions, probably, I'm not sure, I haven't tried carrots, but I reckon carrots, no, not so much. And other root vegetables that obviously will grow again and have roots at the bottom of the bulb. Now, what I've got here, this is yesterday's harvest. So all the spring onions that I took out of the ground, this is the foliage. Well, what am I saying foliage? It feels like foliage. It's the root system. Now, I'm not sure if any of you have grown spring onions before. Look, you can actually start with the stuff you buy at your local supermarket. Only concern I have about those is they get dipped in all sorts of chemicals to kill off the microbes or the enzymes that exist on them. Anything living on it gets destroyed by chemical spraying or dipping. And I know that by firsthand, not me firsthand, but a friend of mine who actually is a distributor of spring onions and says he has to dip them because they won't take them otherwise. Apparently the health and safety regulations have said that no, we can't accept that there's little living creatures on them or bacteria on it that can be a health hazard to our health as humans. I've never heard anything so ridiculous in my life. Nevertheless, that's what goes on. Now, in saying that, if you were to buy spring onions from your local supermarket and you wanted to try and grow them, give it a go. Even the onions. I actually have got some onions. I should have brought it out to show you the comparison of an onion from a supermarket with the little roots underneath it to an onion or a spring onion to a spring onion from my garden. These are the roots of my spring onions. Go to your local supermarket if you want to, just out of curiosity, and it's not so much that they cut the roots off, it's so much that the fact that they are a lot smaller as well because they get liquid fertilized with all sorts of products, and I won't dare say it's natural, it's more of a synthetic base, artificially grown, so the roots will not be anywhere as big as these. Even if they do cut them off, they ain't going to be this big because I've seen them in their raw state. The biggest the roots will be, and I'm going to damage this now, is that. That's what you'll find coming out, and they're actually trimmed down when they take them to the supermarkets. But this is just a random one. Look how, well, that's not small, it's not huge, because I've got some bigger ones in here somewhere. But nevertheless, well, here we go, I can feel something here. Look at that. That's one plant there. One plant from a spring onion. You kidding me? That's what you get in a bunch. This one here, I've had at least 2 or 3 harvests from it, and it's been growing for so long, I've got bigger roots on it, and that's a healthy plant. No chemicals, folks, naturally grown. Whereas the ones in the supermarket, obviously they're going to grow in a shorter period, over a shorter period, so the roots won't be anywhere near as big as that. But it's not about the size of the roots. It's obviously the plant you want. It's also how it's grown. It's what they do to the plants as they grow to get them to grow, and obviously how they treat them when they get them onto the supermarket shelf. You don't even know where it's been. I mean, we know that there's some great growers out there, but they're conditioned to be able to produce a product, and you all know it. It's got to be perfectly round, perfectly straight. They're all identical shape and sizes for transport reasons, for whatever the reason. At the end of the day, the purpose of what we do to the vegetable or the fruit or the flowering plant is just, it's inhumane. We shouldn't be treating our garden beds with chemicals either. You know, we're talking about our health at the moment, what we're putting into our bodies. Well, I'm all about the earth, and what you put into the earth is what you're going to put into your body. So if you're happy to pump chemicals into the earth and grow your plants, expect to eat the same in return. Otherwise, if you're not, well, keep it clean, keep it simple. Give back to Mother Nature what it gives you. And this is healthy. Last night, my youngest daughter was having a beautiful salad from the garden. She's enjoying herself, but I could hear her dry reaching around the corner because she was around the corner on the table. And I called out, "What's wrong with you?" She goes, "Oh, there's a bug in my salad." Well, okay, that's okay. It's a bit of protein. You'll enjoy it. Well, she did eat the rest of the salad. That's proof in itself. There are no chemicals. All right, so now we're going to plant these back out into the garden. So we don't need all the roots because we've got no plant on top. I've cut that back, as you can see there. So you can leave this in the ground if you don't need to transplant it and just cut it down to the ground like that. It'll sprout up again, and that's what these have done for me over and over again. But this time I thought I'd dig them out and move them to a different spot and start all over again. So cut them off like that, and that's all you need to do, folks. You don't have to cut off too much. That's just enough to get it into the ground. But also pop it in some water with a little bit of liquid gold. No matter what you're planting or transplanting, always soak them in a little bit of liquid gold or water it in afterwards. That's what I'm going to do with the rest of these as well now. That one's already cut, just drop it in like that. And let's finish them off. I'm going to plant them in this garden bed here, the one that I was digging over yesterday a little bit, folks. I haven't had spring onions on this side. That's garlic. And what's happened here, the chickens have got in here and they've dug up all the garlic. They're great for doing things like that, aren't they? Now these ones here, you can see they're spring onions. They're coming into flower and I haven't got enough of those. That's the only batch I've got of the red ones. What I mean by red is the red at the base of the actual stalk itself. So I'm going to let these go to flower. I'm going to collect the seeds and start propagating some of those from seed again so I can populate the quantity, and we'll end up having them online as well. Oh, yeah, by the way, before I forget, our 11-pack hot chili and capsicum range, it's selling like hotcakes, folks. You've got to get yours as well. There's 11 different variety of chilies and capsicums, 3 capsicums and the rest are hot chilies from mild to hot. Get your pack. They're super cheap at the moment, and we're actually doing a pack with a 6-pack garden hand tools and the chilies. I think they're almost giving away the chilies with every 6-pack that they sell, but check that out on the vasilisgarden.com website. Let's get into this. So loosen it up a little bit. Like that. You know, I'm going to move these garlics. They shouldn't be here. They haven't even grown yet, I don't think. Is that a garlic? No, that's a spring onion. That's a garlic. All right, so we're going to put this in the other garden bed. Keep that aside. So I'm just going to loosen this all up. It's a great little tool, this one here, folks. The T-handle spade. Look at this. 1 cos lettuce left. We harvested the rest, and this one sprouted up. We left the roots in there. You can do that with vegetables like that too. Leafy greens, cut them down. Broccoli, we've harvested all our broccoli. We've got broccolinis coming on at the moment, and lettuce as well. You can harvest the lettuce to the ground. It'll sprout up again. Most times it will form a smaller head. Sometimes you get a multi-head on them going on, or sometimes they just might bolt and go to seed. But look, there's no harm in trying. You're not losing anything. You're just going to try and get a second harvest. If you don't, well, you got your first harvest and you succeeded anyway. So we've just loosened this up. Real simple. I love this soil. It's really got some good texture going on in here. Now, I'm going to use, let's see which one I'm going to use here. I might use this, see if I can create a little bit of a furrow. Beautiful. Now we're just going to drop these in. One there. Space them out before you cover them so you can see you've got your spacing even. Now spring onions can be planted in clumps if you like. Obviously if you're going to plant them in clumps and harvest them small, you're going to need to harvest them small because they won't have the room to grow properly. I like to grow mine a lot larger. Have a look at the size of the roots on these things here. How close can you put them? I mean, you can put one in between there like that and just keep going. Even that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's plenty, you know, even if you double that maximum 20 spring onion plants and you harvest each one a day, by the time, man, I've got 200 over there. No, I'm being just told I'm in that case, don't worry about that. That's what I do. I plant too much of something and then I just sit there eating spring onions for a year. But even that, 20 spring onions, if you're multiple harvesting, you can't go wrong. I know spring onion is one of the easiest vegetables to grow too, by the way, folks. That's why I talk about it. It's probably the only thing I can grow at the moment, huh? Now, when you plant it, you need to keep it above. Doesn't matter if you get a bit of soil because we're going to wash that off afterwards. And then give them a water with a little bit of liquid gold. I haven't put any EK Butch in this one yet. The second one round I will. You can see it'll just sort of wash the soil off the surface of them. But don't worry about that too much if you can't see them, folks, because as they grow, they'll push their way back up and they'll be beautiful for you to be able to harvest. And that's what you need to do with your garden, folks. Harvest as much as you can from your garden and replant. Collect seeds, bulbs, roots of any sort of plant you have that you love eating and sharing with your family and friends. And make sure you put everything natural into the garden because whatever goes in there goes back into your tummy and your family as well. And you want to keep it as clean as possible. Now, we have announced that we were going to give away a VIP at the end of each week, and today's a day. So that's a subscription to our magazine. 4 magazines delivered to your door to the newsletter subscriber, and today's winner is Iris Sumaig. Now, my apologies if I've mispronounced the surname, but our online team will contact you. If you're not watching this video, that's okay. You'll get an email shortly notifying you of winning the 4 magazine subscription, which will be delivered to your door. Now, if you like what we do here, folks, subscribe to our channel, follow us, like us, all those wonderful things that you got to do so you can get our newsletters every day and video uploads as well. And check out our website, vasilisgarden.com. The 6-pack hand tool with the seeds are going out like hotcakes, folks. They're on special all on vasilisgarden.com and 65% off black grit. You've got to be crazy. From me, Vasili Maresi, I think I am.